Hey, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. Well, I have very well-meaning friends who send me books of torture, and the persons who deal with this the most is Mr. and Mrs. O, and they've sent another book of quotations. This one, The Most Brilliant Thoughts of All Time, in 2 lines or less. Thanks a lot. Now I have to start thinking. Now I have to start assessing some of the things that I held as being true that really need to be looked at. This is a beautiful book. It's the acknowledgements. It's in various categories: the human condition, success, fortune, failure and misfortune, truth, lies and deception, talk, talk, talk. I'll expect to find myself in that. Passions, virtues and vices. And 6, it's only in your mind. I can't wait to read this. In fact, I am reading it right now. Now, some of these quotations, some of these quotes are from people whose names I can't even pronounce, not being a very educated man. I always used to realize how uneducated I was when I read books which constantly referred to situations and assessments of the condition that they were describing by quoting in French. What the heck am I supposed to know about that? So I can't pronounce all of the names. I'll do it with the ones that I can do, but the others, well, I'll arrive at something that I can probably get away with. But this one is easy. It's Edith Wharton, 1862 to 1937, a couple of years before I was born, would you believe. She said, "There are 2 ways of spreading light: to be the candle or the mirror that reflects it." I like that. So in other words, you can be the iconic figure, or you can be the person who recognizes that an icon may be upsetting a few people, but it's actually telling the truth and spreading the light.
What's that?
Well, this is the one that, isn't this the one that you liked? There are 2 ways of spreading light? No, it's not that one, is it?
What does it mean?
Well, there are 2 ways of spreading light: to be the candle. In other words, you can be the source of the light,
or the mirror that reflects it.
Yes.
What do you want?
What do I want?
Yeah, a candle or a mirror?
You can't have a candle, honey.
Or
you can be the candle.
You can be the candle or the mirror.
You can be the mirror. It's a metaphor for saying that you can be the source of the light, or you can be somebody who recognizes it and reflects it, and carries the message.
So what do you want?
Both have their place.
So what do you want?
It's not a case of what
But if you want to choose,
okay, I would prefer to be the candle, because, well, that kind of illustrates the difficulty when people want to actually call us and talk to us. The signal just breaks up and all I can hear is a crackling on-off voice at the other end. So Beth has gone out in search of a better signal so that she can actually talk to that person. I did try to buy something online, and it says give your number and we will call you back. I'm guessing that it is to confirm that in fact you did say that you wanted that, because it's a cash on delivery. Okay, now the first one of these quotations was the human condition, as I told you, and some of these are very, very deep quotations. Not to be surprised, because we shouldn't be surprised, because, well, the first one, it says, "Wit makes its own welcome and levels all distinction," and that was Ralph Waldo Emerson, who happens to be a pretty clever person. It says, "We are inclined to believe those whom we do not know because they have not deceived us. In other words, sometimes, actually I think that this touches on how familiarity breeds contempt, as the saying goes. That's another quotation, isn't it? Probably anonymous, I don't know who said that. But very often, those that we know the best are often refused acceptance and acknowledgement. And I always think, I used to know someone who made me the wife of a friend who was rather negative in her approach to things. I guess you would say that she was someone for whom the glass was half empty. But she used to see things on the negative side rather than the positive side, and it inspired in me the quotation that would say, as long as someone was still dreaming of a way that they could succeed, they were just dreamers. But the moment that one of their dreams paid off, the moment that one of their dreams was launched like a magnificent boat, they became men of vision. In other words, she probably would say, well, he was obviously made for success, wasn't he? He just kept trying and trying and trying. And yet, when the person was trying and failing, they were only dreamers. The operative word being only. Honey, what was that about?
It's about your order.
Oh, and you confirmed it, and they're going to send it.
Yeah, they're going to send
that's
it.
wonderful. That's wonderful.
Where we are now?
Well,
let's go back to the candle, because I'm not moving on yet.
Well,
so you want to be the candle?
Honey, you're making this a personal thing and asking me what do I want. The idea is that you look at it as a general thing, and just learn from it. You don't say, okay, all right, what do you want? Do you want the candle?
I think
do you want the mirror?
I think I would be in or
the mirror that reflects it.
Yeah, the candle or the mirror, both.
Yes, because the candle or the mirror, both.
Yeah.
That means
because you could be a candle and at the same time you could be a mirror.
Well, that's true, isn't it? The idea here is that you get to have two assessments of what these things mean. And a lot of them are not easy.
Yeah.
They're not easy to work out. To think is to say no. In other words, when you ask somebody something and they say, well, I'll think about it, what they're really doing is saying no. What do you think?
Yes, because...
Yes?
Yes, you're right.
Oh, okay.
Because sometimes it's difficult for us to say no, so you just made a little alibi that is a little bit not so close and not so far. You just don't want to hurt someone and said no, so you just say, I'll think about it, but you already have the answer in your mind.
Right, that's the reality. That's very much the Asian way of doing it, isn't it? That Asian people don't like to be confrontational, so they don't say no. No, so the opposite of talking
is not listening. The opposite of talking is waiting.
Did you even see my lips move for the last bit of that?
So it means that the opposite of talking is not listening. Yes.
Yes.
Because if you're talking, the opposite is not listening. Because if you're talking, you didn't listen. Right? In other words, it's better if you listen because you get something on it. Because if you just talk and talk and talk, it's just like you repeat, and then you didn't learn something.
You don't learn anything.
Yes.
Right. So, nobody forgets where he buried the hatchet. You understand that? Are you familiar with that English expression of burying the hatchet?
Yeah, in other words, the bad feelings, right?
Well, if someone has done something against you, and you forgive him and move on,
but don't forget.
They call that burying the hatchet.
Yeah, but I think, what do you call that? I think it's the best thing to do is forgive, but don't forget, because it's a lesson for you to not do it again, and at the same time for you not to jump up on that situation again.
Right. Well,
sometimes my mind is working.
You'll be glad to know that Frank McKinney actually would be happy that you agreed with him.
Yeah.
Okay. So, have a care, therefore, where there is more sail than ballast.
What is ballast? Is it sand?
Well, yes it is, and it's sometimes placed in the bottom of a boat so that there is a balance there.
No.
But it's saying that it's better to have a lot of sail, or more sail, than ballast, so that you can move on and do stuff.
I see. Agree.
Right.
Because I don't understand.
Right. Well, look at this one. The wicked are always surprised to find that the good can be clever. What do you think of that?
What do you mean by wicked, hon?
The wicked.
The weak?
Wicked.
The weak, right?
No, wicked is bad.
The bad
yes,
is always surprised.
a wicked man is a bad man.
Yeah, because sometimes the bad man, the wicked or the bad man is always think that he's intelligent, right? And he's clever. And he sometimes, you know, we have portions in our life, we have part in ourselves that we have an ego, right? And sometimes our ego, that's, oh, I know that, right? And sometimes we wanted to be above anyone else, that we didn't realize that the people that we thought can't do it, they have the ability to do it more than you do, right?
Okay, good enough. See what do you make of this? They always say that Paris was this wonderful, wonderful place. Paris in France.
If you don't bring Paris with you,
right,
you won't find it there. It means that wherever you do, even the place is so beautiful, it's so memorable. If you didn't, what do you call that? If you didn't feel the moment, got it?
Well, it's saying if you don't bring Paris with you,
you won't find it there.
You won't find it there. Well, where is there?
In your heart.
No, it's Paris.
A place in...
No, it's Paris. So in other words, your sense of beauty and all of the whole romantic whole thing about Paris and going to Paris. Paris is a place where they say that you should go with someone that you love. You should go with somebody that you love.
Is that Paris Hilton?
No, it's not. Paris is in France. Well, there's one in America, but it doesn't really count. But Paris is in France.
Yeah, I saw that in the movie that he wanted to go there and get married.
And it's a very romantic place, and it's where lovers go, and it's a beautiful city where you can walk. Whereas we know from cities like Manila, there's no pleasure in walking too much in Manila. Not like Paris, which is a gorgeous place for walking almost anywhere.
What does it mean?
Well, it means that Paris is a certain concept of beauty and romance. But if you don't feel it before you get there, in other words, if you don't carry the whole thing of Paris and beauty and romance and passion.
Yeah, that's why I'm right.
Right. So, yes, you need to take that there in your heart in order to see it when you get there.
Yeah, because sometimes even the place is so beautiful, if you don't appreciate it, it's useless.
That's right.
Correct.
Yes. You're smart, you know that?
Yeah. No, this one, darling.
Which one?
No, I finished that.
Now, this is a good one, isn't it? Remember that in giving any reason at all for refusing, you lay some foundation for a future request.
But remember that in giving any reasons at all for refusing, you lay some foundation for the future. So in other words, if you remember that in giving any reasons for example, if you refuse, sometimes then that person that received neglection, right? Sometimes it's difficult. You put barrier that he will not ask again, right? Is that correct?
No, it's the opposite here, because it's saying, remember that in giving any reason, in other words, if someone asks you for something or a favor or I don't know, a money or the loan of something, and you say no and then give a reason or an excuse.
So he will do it again. He will do it.
No, he will come back to you again, because he will assume that the reason that you said no was not because you wanted to say no, but because you couldn't help it. So if he wants to borrow your lawnmower and you say, oh, actually I'm going to use it this weekend, well, he's going to come back next week and say, are you still using your lawnmower? And then you'll have a hard time saying, well, yes, I am.
Yeah.
You understand? So he'll come back. He'll come back at another time and hit you up for whatever he wanted. Where? What do you see?
Most people are other people. Their thoughts are someone else's opinion. Their lives are What is mimicry?
Mimicry.
Their passions, a quotation.
A quotation.
By Oscar Wilde.
Oscar Wilde.
Wilde.
But that's a
Wilde.
No, Wilde. Oscar Wilde.
What does it mean then?
Well, most people are other people. Their thoughts are someone else's opinions. Their lives a mimicry. Their passion a quotation. They're not you.
No.
That's what I would say.
That's so difficult.
A team effort is a lot of people doing what I say.
I don't
Nothing
know
on that?
No thing. I agree.
Okay. Look at this one. One can always be kind to people about whom one cares nothing.
What does it mean?
What do you think?
One can
You
always be kind to people about whom
that you don't care about.
So in other words, sometimes you thought that no one cares of that people, but there are somebody that really care.
Not really. One can always be kind to people about whom one cares nothing. So if you have the chance to be kind to someone, if you don't care about them, there's no conditions, there's no expectations. You just do a kindness.
Right? So act of kindness.
Right, not a lack of kindness.
Act. A-C-T.
An act of kindness, yes, if you like, yes. Right, so it's always easier if you don't actually care about them. So you can be nice to someone. Sometimes you can have a terrific argument with your spouse or your partner or your friend and be very angry with him or her, and then you walk out on the street and you see someone who you don't care about at all, and you say, hey, how are you? Great to see you. Hey, you're looking good.
Why is it other people trying to do that, even if they don't mean it?
Well, I think that everybody does that.
Especially.
Are you really telling me that you don't do that?
No, I didn't.
You might have an argument.
Especially foreigners. Hey, right? Why?
Especially foreigners.
Yeah.
Why? How come we got onto the foreigners thing?
Yeah, because,
we're going all racist now.
How are you? Good seeing you.
All right. Would you could have an argument with someone and not be very nice, and then you walk out and you're out on the street or get off the tricycle in Taliban, and you see someone who actually you don't care about either way, and you're nice to them.
Yeah, it's good to be nice, you know. It's good to be nice because that's what the world needs. Right?
What the world needs now is love. Sweet love. You know that song? What the world needs now is love, sweet love.
What the world needs now.
That's the only thing that there's.
What's the next one?
Much too little of. How many people... Can you not do my hair so that I look like Ronald McDonald? How many people become abstract as a way of appearing profound?
I don't understand.
No, that's difficult because those words are difficult. Becoming abstract is when your meaning is not so clear. And if you can make the other person feel like you just said, I don't understand, then it's almost as if you have made yourself seem very clever.
This one, everyone is perfectly willing to learn from unpleasant experience. If
Where is
only If
Oh,
only
okay.
the damage of the first lesson could be repaired by George Christoph Lechenberg.
Lichtenberg.
Lichtenberg.
Everyone is perfectly willing to learn from unpleasant experience. If only the damage of the first lesson
Could be
could be
repaired.
repaired. What do you think?
Yes, I agree. Because everyone is, sometimes our experience is the best teacher. Right? There's no try and error, because even if it's an error, you learn from it.
But what about what they're saying here is everyone is perfectly willing to learn from unpleasant experience if only the damage from the first lesson could be repaired.
I think that's
What if the damage can't be repaired? You are famous for saying once the mirror is cracked.
yeah,
Can
it can be.
Can it ever be repaired?
Yes, that's my that's my what do you call that? Fundamental.
Well, that's one of your beliefs in life, isn't it?
Yeah, I tried to change that.
You try to think that. Change that.
I'm
Yes.
trying to adjust on my fundamental theory.
Right. Here's another one. A loving person lives in a loving world.
A
hostile
person lives in a hostile world. Everyone you meet is your mirror. Yes, I agree with that, because sometimes we thought that, oh, why is it she's like that or he's like that, and then sometimes you realize that the reasons why you don't like that person is because you saw yourself, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just sometimes you try to look on that, but we always remember that the persons that we met on the way of our journey, sometimes he came to your life or she came to your life for a reason, for a purpose, for you to learn and for you to share what you learn.
Yeah, well, what he's saying there is, that's true, what you've said is true. A loving person lives in a loving world. In other words, if you just find that the world is a pleasant place, what's that saying?
I'm gonna use the iron.
Honey, what did you knock over?
Nothing.
In other words, if you go out into the world every day thinking that everybody is going to be nice to you, how can you meet any other? But if you're a hostile person, then you already believe that there is hostility out there, and in a way and I know people like this, you carry a war behind you. So you think that war that you are carrying behind you is invisible to everybody else, but it's not. And you will be seen for what you are. I wanted to go on to, let me see, this was success, fortune and failure. But I wanted to read some of the others, and I put little ticks. Truth. Look at this one. Truth, lies and deception. Are you ready? Of course, the whole subject of truth, lies and deception is nothing to do with you and me. This is all about other people. This is all about how other people tell lies and deceive and betray. Not us, of course. So, he who does not need to lie is proud of not being a liar. There you go. A man, but the hidden point there is he who does not need to lie. What about when you need to lie? What about when you feel the need to lie? What about when you've been asked for something and you don't want to give it, but you actually feel that you should give it? So you can't just say no. So you say, no, it's broken at the moment and in the repair shop, so sorry, I can't, I don't have it to lend. You've told a lie. Well, he who does not need to lie is proud of not being a liar. So at that moment when you don't need to lie, in other words, someone asks for your lawnmower or your grass cutter and you don't have it anymore, you can say, hey, I don't have that anymore. And if they say, really? Oh, come on, I don't believe you. You can say, listen, I'm not a liar. I'm not lying, okay? I'm proud of not being a liar. I don't have it. Come and look in my garage. You can have a look. I don't have that anymore. You're proud of not being a liar because you never needed to be. It requires as much caution to tell the truth as to conceal it. So, caution to tell the truth. Well, sometimes in telling the truth, you can actually be very, very cruel. A lot of people who say that I am brutally honest in telling the truth, very often it's the brutal part that they enjoy more than the act of telling the truth. That's something that I've learned. Every truth passes through 3 stages before it is recognized. In the first, now this is very interesting. I have to circle this. Every truth passes through 3 stages before it is recognized. In the first, it is ridiculed, so it's made fun of. In the second, it is opposed. In the third, it is regarded as self-evident. I read that before, formed in a certain, in a different way of saying it. In the first, when you bring out something that you declare is right, at first it will be ridiculed. What a dreamer that guy is! Oh my God, what is he saying? And then it is. So first is ridiculed, and then second it's opposed. In other words, at first everybody doesn't take you seriously, and they say, yeah, well, he's just a dreamer, isn't he? As I was saying a few minutes ago, he's just a dreamer. He's not going anywhere. But then you persist, and you start to gain some followers, and you start to gain some ground. Now they're going to work against you. Boy, don't we know this? They're going to work against you. They're going to oppose you. They're going to try to stop you. And then, in the third stage, what you say will be recognized and embraced. That's an interesting one, isn't it? But I see that we've already been on for quite a time. So, I'm going to say thank you for listening to Words of Wisdom, which I could only wish were mine, and which I can only aspire to living up to. Thanks for being with us. This is A Foreigner in the Philippines. Bye for now.